Hey Battle Buddies and Healthy Heroes, my name is Susie, just an enthusiastic nerd with LARP and fitness content, and it is spring drill time. I am here with my buddies, Sensei Ed and even Justin. We are all working on this really cool combo that I need to give credit to Will Kincaid for, that involves a feint, an inside forearm strike, and then a disengaged strike that's kind of like a windmill. So this is a combination of feinting, striking, and windmilling all on one hand. So we're gonna break down the 3 different striking locations and techniques. We're gonna talk a little bit about body mechanics, and then I will show you how I'm gonna use it in a drill to make it into a workout. Let's get going. It's a very cool move that feels a lot like fencing because you're coming in with a single arm doing 3 different moves. And the first is a feint on the outside, very tiny wrist motion to get to the inside after he tries to block me because I feinted. And then I'm gonna disengage off the hip, do a little wrist motion, and reset over here. And he can do nothing about it. So come here. Let's look. I am going to think primarily about controlling from my wrist to get small circles on the tip of my blade. And I'm going to feint, or I mean, if I have a good angle, I'll take the outside shot, but primarily it's a tiny circles to get me inside. I'm thinking about the size of the circle on the tip of my blade by focusing on moving my wrist, right? Like I'm not focusing on moving my weapon. That was your advice. Do you want to speak to that a little bit?
Move your body, not your weapon.
Move your body, not your weapon. That was a sensei tip. Thank you, Ed. So moving your body with a small wrist circle, little circle, feinting and getting on the inside, and then I'm going to drop my wrist and pull my hip almost at the same time to get a disengage. Okay, so I have little wrist circle, dropping the blade and disengaging. So what would you work on, or what pointers do you have from like a body mechanics point of view for something involving all those steps?
In making circles, if you make a circle empty-handed, your body has to do the entire motion. Okay. But we're holding a long thing. Mm-hmm. So I can make like a V, and my blade, coupled with my wrist motion, will make a circle. Okay. I don't have to make a circle with my hand, but then it ends up being big and taking a long time. So if I just make a V with my hand while turning my wrist. Okay.
Yeah, so do it, see if you can like matched up how I'm drilling it is same arm to same arm. Yeah.
1, 2. 1,
and I
2.
go to and I go to block it, and then it's just a flick of then you're on the inside. Okay.
The directionality of your body will change the shape of the motion. You need a smaller motion for the body for a larger motion on the blade. So so nice small tight hand movements will get the job done. I think also extending, like moving in and out, helps you
for the V.
So it tightens up the circle.
Yeah, too. Yeah. So if you're doing a little bit of
I dip, rotate, and push.
Mm-hmm. So the push,
it forces the tip inward. So the circle is at least the circle makes the blade approach the arm still.
Okay, and as opposed to
here,
dropping,
it just gets big.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go in as I do it, the path moves. Tracks toward the body rather than just around.
Yeah. I like that too. That's good for working out then. So you have like a little bit of a weight shift and a lunge because you're punching. You're sort of like, is it center mass and out of your shoulder to like get a little forward motion there? Okay. I gotta tighten it up. Maybe.
There you go.
Did that look good? Yeah.
Yes, and it's smaller too.
Okay. Tiny motions as possible, and still be accurate with the maximum range. I care about how far away I am. I care about using just the tip of my weapon, and I care about hitting accurately. I'm matching sides on this one. I'm not cross-body for the initial feint, just because that's the way Will pulled it off on me, right? There's no one right way to do this. If you want to take this idea and run with it and put it on different spots, be my guest. I'm going to practice this one spot at a time because I'm still new to it.
Doing things on both sides of the body, once on one and once on the other. Don't think in terms of left and right, think in terms of front and back. Mm-hmm. Here is my front side. Also inside and outside. So inside and outside we do already.
I think long hand, short hand, or like dominant hand and off hand.
Much better, because that's reversible.
Yeah.
Whereas left and right are not. It's twice as much to remember. So when you do the first one, outside, inside, across.
Outside, inside, across.
That way,
yeah.
on the other side, you say to yourself, outside, inside, across.
Same keywords. Yeah, that's really good mental load, because for a combo as smooth and involved as this, with 3 different like wrist flicks and 3 different strike locations, there's already enough in your mental load. If you can give yourself really concise cues to get yourself through it, that's gonna make you move faster, smoother and faster. I love that. That's awesome. Thank you.
If you aim for where it is from where you are before you plan to move, I'm not going to be where you expect, because you're going to add the move late.
Okay.
So I go to do my
circle thing.
I go to do my circle thing. I practice that. I practice that. I practice that. When I go to move, now I'm going.
So you have to extend a little bit. If you're going to move off the hip, you have to extend out of the arm on the disengage, is what you're telling me?
So yeah, you step upon full extension.
Yeah. So okay, push into the little circle.
That means not being afraid to be in until you make contact.
Okay. So push into the little circle. Once you're in there, drop the wrist, full extension for your range, and then pull back.
So
Is that what you're saying?
1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
This is the 1.
2. There it is.
So obviously, with this drill being fresh, my advice for you is to break it up into small chunks. This entire drill could be a feint circle. We don't necessarily have to have a feint circle combo with a disengage. You're only going to take the disengage if it presents itself, if someone falls for the feint. But like I said, if we're doing it for a workout, just run the whole combo and then dynamically respond in combat as you need to. Let's learn the whole combo. Whole combo is for the little circle. So if I'm gonna do this as a workout, it's easiest off my dominant hand. So the first part of the drill is gonna be little circle, push, wrist, like that. The cool thing about the disengage is that it sets you up immediately with your other hand forward. So if you are looping it, you do one arm, dip. Smaller, Susie, move from the wrist, there. Small, and then you're set up. I might do a little shuffle. So once you pull back, and you are ready to start the other side, you might need to adjust your angle of approach, you might need to adjust your range a little bit, but like you can stay in an exercise, in a cardio routine, do your combo, stay light on your feet, readjust, see where your approach is. 1, 2, yeah. I'm gonna readjust. Now I'm gonna do it on this arm. 1, 2, 3, cut.
The other thing is when feinting, what people tend to do, especially when they're newer, is perform the feint and then wait to see if it works, and then continue. Now, as I'm noticing my feint worked, they're noticing that they got feinted, and we're coming together at the same time. I've lost the window that I opened by feinting to begin with. So when I'm starting out any combination in which I intend to feint, I'll just pretend it was a go.
Yeah.
Just pretend everything went according to plan,
like,
and later go, did that work? I can't afford to do it as I'm feinting, because you're recovering at the same time. I'm discovering my feint worked or didn't.
You're just not feinting. You're hitting them 3 times.
Yeah, don't even think of it as a feint. Think of it as 3 hits, like outside, inside, disengage.
Yeah. It will take a little time to realize, to not stop when you don't hit the first time. When you tell yourself strike, exactly.
That's why you drill it before you get out there in combat, because then you have the muscle memory and the flow to be like, all right,
yeah, see, you stopped.
1, 2. Well, that's what I tried to do on the offhand. So why we do spring drills is because if I'm going to try to pull off something like a feint, an inside, and a disengage, I'm going to need to put those 3 motions in my wrist, in my elbow, in my hip, in my muscle memory, so I can flow through them swiftly and not get thrown off whether or not my opponent reacts. Make sense? That's what you're getting at?
Absolutely.
Awesome, fantastic. 1, 2, 3, yeah. And it's gonna feel different, even right there, as I'm trying to flow through this continuously, the reach out of my short blade for the windmill felt different than the reach out of my long blade. That's why you do things ambidextrously from both sides while you are drilling, because these two blades are not the same length. And if you want to combo from either setup, you're going to want to feel how different it is and get the muscles flowing. That one was really sloppy. I gotta practice. And again, before you try to do this in a cardio routine that's like straight 20 minutes for a whole minute of doing it, don't set yourself up for the full length workout of the drill until you break it down as much as you need. If this wrist feels tight, or if I'm not doing small cuts and little V's as much as I like, if I'm not getting in where I want to get, I will break it down and do this circle a bajillion times on the arm of my pillow, or my partner if they're very patient, until I feel like I have found the spot where I want it to hit, I have found my range, I have found my accuracy. I move into adding the disengage, and then I feel like that's kind of solid. Once it's solid, start looping it, but don't loop it until it's solid.
So the other thing is, it'll never feel the same on both sides of your body, no matter how much you drill. You just learn what's correct on your right side and what's correct on your left.
Exactly.
Don't worry about it feeling the same.
Yeah,
most people are not ambidextrous, so it's never going to feel the same.
In regards to like a fitness and body symmetry position, I would like for my legs to have equal strength, my wrists to have equal strength, but I'm still going to have a dominant hand. It's still going to feel tighter and smoother on my dominant hand. I just want to offer the same opportunity for strength on my offhand. It's always going to feel jankier, and my range is always going to be a little pushier to try to get there. But as long as I'm giving it the same opportunity of time spent and focus on it, like, it's going to be symmetrical enough.
And you'll always have the option to pull a Dread Pirate Roberts. I know something you do not know.
I'm not the pirates. Perfect. Have fun out there.
I don't remember the second thing at all.
We're bugging my ear.
Keeping that.
Oh, I remember. Okay.
Wait, you got it? You're going? You're going to need to be dynamic like you always are in combat. But for the purposes of spring drills, because something we do in the spring is exercise, where we just make...
Leave that.
No, I'm not leaving that. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm also talking in circles.
Perfect.
That's how you're supposed to be moving your sword.
Same time, nerds being nerds. Okay. Cameraman's got no tips.
I just even want to carry the camera.
Aw.